week on Measure of Success. We're tagging along with me and Brent on November 2nd. I've got the crossbow and Brent's behind the camera. It took a while, but about 9:30, the deer showed up.
It's a beautiful morning. Wind's not blowing very hard. Temperature's about 30, 32. So we'll see. They should be out and about. There he is, Brent.
So it's a little bit hard to tell from the footage because Brent's view was blocked with the big camera, so we're going off the GoPro that was mounted on my crossbow. But this is actually a deer that we call Dagger. We've got a few pictures of him. I think he's 3.5, and he's got a really nice 4-point side. But for 2 years in a row now, he's just had a spike coming off the other side that fork. So this is a deer that I want to shoot, but unfortunately, he gives us the slip. So immediately after Dagger goes over the hill, I turn to say something to Brent, but as I'm turning, I notice another deer out at the scrape where we first saw Dagger.
Brent, another deer. Same spot. That's a little one, little bitty doe. I don't think so. She's pretty relaxed.
So it's a doe that's out there where Dagger started at the same scrape. And I don't know if you heard, but on the clip, Brent said it kind of looked like something else was out there pushing him around. I thought she looked extremely relaxed, so I actually reached up and turned the camera off. And no sooner had I done that, do we hear a grunt, and the two does take off running through the woods. And they actually go over the same hill that Dagger does, and I turn around, and I look out to that scrape through the woods. I can see a 10-pointer working the scrape. So, it's game on.
Sure, right there. Where'd those does go?
So with those does having gone over the hill, and I knew that buck couldn't see him anymore, I hit him with a couple bleats to see if that could prevent him from taking the path of the does and Dagger. So with this deer slightly closer to us than the does and Dagger before they went over the hill, he got in behind a little brush pile, so I hit him with another bleat, and I crossed my fingers.
Just going right down the top.
So this deer still hasn't committed whether he's going to go over the hill or come to us. He's pretty much just walking right down the middle of the top of the ridge. And right before he gets to my shooting lane, he turns and starts coming towards us. And he's going to come across my shooting lane at about 28 yards. And if you'll notice, he catches me a little bit off guard with that decision, and I scramble to get the safety off. But I get the safety off, and it's just up to me to do my job. So I didn't like how he was quartering to me when he went through the shooting lane, so I didn't try to stop him. And he's actually on a path to get even closer. He's actually going to cross an old logging road here in front of me and be about 15 to 18 yards. So I'm just waiting for that shot. And then he does something that I've never had a deer that I wanted to shoot do. I've had a lot of deer come in and do this, but I've never had one do this that I wanted to shoot. So at this point, this deer's been laying in front of us for almost 20 minutes. And I've got a really good look at him, but I missed that kicker off to the side. And I've got him at about 3.5. Typical city deer. Probably not going to get a whole lot bigger going from 3.5 to 4.5. But still not a 4.5-year-old deer like I'm looking for. So I make the executive decision that I'm not going to shoot this deer because he gave me a preview of what the ground shrinkage would look like. But he stands up, walks through my shooting lane, and walks right underneath the tree stand, and I get a good look at that kicker, and I change my mind. So as I'm reaching back for the crossbow, because at this point I've hung it up, he catches me and runs off. Brent is exactly right. He may run over that hill and got shot by somebody else, but you know what? I think I made the right decision. Not that he wasn't a big enough deer, I just didn't feel like he was old enough. And to be honest with you, if he was that big, but I felt like he was 4.5 or 5.5, I would have shot him. But he just wasn't the buck I was looking for on that day. It may come back and bite me this season. I may eat a tag sandwich because of it. But you know what? We had a really cool encounter, and that deer laid in front of us for about 20 minutes. So can't ask for much more than that. So that's going to close out episode 7. Like I said, I really hope I don't regret that decision. But we've got some guys hitting the woods this week. Today's November 10th, so they're hitting the woods this week. They'll be rifle hunting a little bit in Arkansas. There'll be some guys hitting the woods bow hunting in town, which you can't use rifles in town. And then Friday, me and Brent are actually headed up to Missouri for Missouri's opening weekend of rifle season. I've got a tag. Brent's going to film me. We're heading up back to where I'm from. We're going to stay at my mom and dad's and hunt the farm that I've been hunting since I was young. But fingers crossed, these guys hunting this week lay something down so that we'll have something for episode 8 to post on Thursday before we head to Missouri. Have a great weekend, everybody.